Welcome to episode 37 of Pineapples and Thorns. Morning, guys. How are you today?
Good morning.
Good morning. Doing well.
Excellent. It's very early on a Sunday morning. You guys made me get up so early to do this, but I'm
Sorry,
awake.
it's
I have my coffee.
practically the last summer weekend, so lots to do.
How are you today, Fado?
I'm doing okay. I've been to the grocery store already, so one of my big to-dos is done.
Oh, so ambitious.
I'm an early riser.
Let's jump into the CFF news and other stuff. Peter, take it away.
So I think the biggest news is KGH spun for their 600th war win, and they actually won first crack, and it wasn't even close. I don't remember which phone I put my screenshot on, but it was quite a blowout. So congratulations to those guys.
Awesome.
Actually, there's some other KGH news. Rusty is busy in real life, so he is going to step down as leader. And he's handed that over as a rotating thing between TorHub, OU, and Shark. Awesome. So the three of them will share the leadership role and just keep KGH rolling. And we hope Rusty can get back to playing again, but, real life comes, it happens.
Yeah, always.
Some other CFF news is the Town Hall 11 Royal Rumble is quickly approaching. That will run on Sunday, September 11th at 2 o'clock Eastern Time. So if you have a Town Hall 11, you think you have what it takes to compete, we'd like you to join up and sign up. CFF server.
Those are always fun.
Yes. I mean, we've had 2 lady winners. I'm just saying, 2 lady winners at Town Hall 9 and Town Hall 10. So come on, boys. Step up. What else we got? Oh, I know. I have both my accounts in a C2J event clan, Eshe, to join. We are trying to fulfill one of Green Arrow's lifelong dreams of being the number 1 clan in Australia. Mm-hmm. So far, I've only seen it as high as 5. But if you have an account in Legends, well, actually, too late. By the time you hear this recording, we'll have run out of this month's Legends push.
Yeah.
But
when I checked this morning, when I checked just before we started recording, we were in fourth.
Okay, so that's creeping
up there. Yeah.
Oh, is that because Lolly joined?
Yes.
So
Lolly
I had to look.
OP.
The first 10 members contribute 10% of their trophy. So those first 10 guys are the most important. Those high trophy guys. They can make a big difference.
Yep.
And then I saw Hero had a bunch of little guys in, but they still contribute 3%. So.
Yeah. So, but I think we have a really good shot at making it there. So.
I don't know. That top clan is an awful far stretch, I think.
We can dream.
Yes. And it's fun. We're spun a war. I think a 40-man war, so that'll be good. Did you guys get to watch any of the World Championship qualifier?
Yes, a little bit.
Yeah.
And Kat and I were just talking a little bit ago about how, there's so many talented players and clans doing it that aren't, Tribe and Strut and the others who've already qualified, but they can't cast all of it. And it's kind of like, oh, shoot, we didn't get to see Lex and Chasmac Gaming get eliminated. It's not like we were hoping for it by any stretch, but just like all these big names were going down and there was only so many streamers to go around.
Yeah, and it was it's really nice to see some of the other teams kind of coming to the top of the rosters there, because there's a couple of clans that, there's people that we kind of know from being in different servers that are going to be going forward next weekend, and we wish them lots of luck. There's Van and it's in Vengeful Noobs, and Vane over in Time to Throw. So
very good.
Yeah, so super excited to watch them next weekend.
Now, did you find that whole tournament format just a little confusing? You lose the first one, you go into the relegation round, but if you win 3, then you get the bypass to the Swiss, what would they call it? The Swiss
round or something.
The Swiss round. So then the Swiss round is you just play some players and you keep winning, you keep moving along, and it's not like a round robin or anything. And then it goes back to another best of or double elimination. Gosh, they want.
It was super confusing for me, but I just kind of followed along as best as I could.
I think it's just they had so many people signed up.
Mm-hmm.
how else do you eliminate everybody?
The takeaway is really like it's front and center the grind to get to Finland, isn't it? Like
Mhm.
look at the people they've got to beat.
Yeah, it's really you really have to want it and be willing to work at it. And so, hats off to everybody who signed up for it, and all the players and people behind the scenes working to get there, because it's just an incredible amount of work. And so,
Did you hear what Itsu said in like the pre-war lead up about? I think they had to have 30-minute matchups during the week.
yeah, they had to try and cram all these wars in. And if people are working, they have school, like real life. Like, I
Crazy.
mean, I don't know if some of them slept.
And that's just the actual war times. Imagine how much time the base builders spent, how much time the attackers spent,
Yeah,
testing bases. Gosh, it's enormous
yeah,
investment
huge
in time.
commitment.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, people watching, just the average person watching the streams probably doesn't realize how much work goes on behind the scenes for the players and the managers and like you said, the base builders.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's not just, oh, I've got to practice my attacks. It's the base building, and not everyone can afford to, have like say Blueprint churning out bases.
Hmm.
And I know, like I think Queen Walkers they mostly build their own, but think how much time that takes,
Can't imagine.
Crazy.
and only for it to get like shellacked within, by E-Drags within 100 seconds. It's like
I did see that. Yeah, I was thinking they did not build for spam E-Drags.
You just can't defend against everything.
Right.
So,
You got to hope that you know who you're meeting.
all right, let's jump into today's topic. We put out a survey in the CFF server, and the topic was, what is your wish list for the Town Hall 15 update, or just quality of life improvements for changes in Clash of Clans? And we got some really interesting responses, so we'll kind of go through them and talk about each one. I was really happy with just the number of responses that we got. So thank you, Peter, for putting that survey out.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I think Fado started it, right? He threw down that idea, so I
Yes,
can't
yeah.
I can't even remember which one of these 2 or 3 are his. So we'll have to let him take the
I,
point when he
I'm
remembers his words.
I'm staring at a couple of them right now. Proud of one. I was kind of joking about another, but I see that one made the list, so it will be discussed.
Okay.
All right, let's go for the first one. Bring back the viability of witches, valks, and nerf healers.
I think we almost need to break this into 3 parts. I think
Okay.
witches have been abandoned, right? I don't think we've had an upgrade since Town Hall 12. Is that right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So
And they really aren't viable at 14. I mean, I guess on the right base they would be, but personally, I found that they just really don't work as like a witch, for example.
But super witches are still in the meta.
Mhm.
Now, I don't think anyone in Redthorn has really and that obviously I'm paying more attention to Redthorn because that's basically where I live. I'm sure there are other clans, but I haven't seen like anyone really using them. And then you watch some of the World guys and they make them work. They really do.
Yeah.
if they're slow though, right? If you had to call them, if they had a downfall, they're just kind of slow.
Absolutely, that's the
Yeah.
risk.
Yeah, like you might smash the base, but you're going to time fail, unless you have an extra rage stash somewhere that you can use on them.
So how could we make witches more viable at Town Hall 14? Maybe at the next level, witch gets the skeleton armor like the skeleton spell has, so those skellies don't just die to the first scattershot blow. Something like that.
That's
If we're
kind
going
of
to
a
make
cool
Town Hall
idea.
15 witches, yeah.
Yeah.
Or if skellies would trigger traps.
Yeah, go there because they used to.
They used to.
Yeah.
It used to be an awesome funneling troop at Town Hall 9 because of that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a couple things Supercell can do.
Yeah. And as far as super witches, I think it would be really nice if they reduced the camp space that they take up.
And they take 40, right?
Yeah.
You drop it to like 32, maybe.
Or yeah, even if they dropped it to 35, I think that would give you a little bit more space to add a few things to your comp to sort of
Yeah,
Yeah,
make
help
that
and
help them
attack
along.
stronger.
yeah, and a super witch. Here's the money shot. Make them
Hmm.
spawn a big boy and a regular witch,
Ooh,
Ooh,
that might be just a little too OP.
like the human centipede of witches.
I'd pay more for that though. I'd pay 50 spots for that.
I can hear all the witch haters crying.
And that's what we're here to do.
Make people cry. Awesome. I
I guess
excel at
then
that.
on to Velks then. So what can we do to
Well,
fix Volks?
oh my gosh, that poor troop. I really
Right.
want to use them, but they're just so squishy.
And maybe they're not so squishy, but they just run into danger. Like, be a little clever there, Redhead. Don't step into that spot yet.
Yeah, straight into the single inferno works
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Well, instead of doing the like super Val, the super Val, I don't even know what good it was. I mean,
Mm.
they should have made it like a sneaky Valk.
Ooh,
Imagine that. Like, I think a sneaky Valk would be great.
yeah.
And
First
Valk,
few seconds invisible. Yeah.
it's been a long time since Valks have been really viable in the non-pro meta. You see like some meme armies at work by the brilliant dudes, but
Mm-hmm.
like Valks were awesome when you were a TH9 and had to hit a
Hmm.
TH10 or a TH10 that is hitting up. But since then, it's kind of like they're good for helping on a hero dive with
Yeah.
skellies, and that's about it.
Yeah, a little bit of funneling. That. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I remember watching somebody use like mass Valks at Town Hall 9, and they just chewed their way through the entire base, and nothing could stop them.
The good old days.
Yes, the good old days of Town Hall 9.
I have tried using Super Volks, but they, like you
Yeah.
said, they're not really viable. They drop that little rage, but if that rage was just like a normal size rage, that could help more. Because Volks just go every which way. They don't seem to stay in a pack like Hogs would or something like that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the viability of the rage they drop is nothing. So
Yeah.
they'll die, and the rage isn't really even touching anything. Like, it would be better if, even if it was the same, like say you reduce the radius of that rage, but you dropped like 4 of them, like at 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 6 o'clock from where she died, then
Mhm.
suddenly that's powerful.
Mm. Yep. That could work. Then the last one didn't really make sense to me. Nerf healers. Is that just because we feel heroes are too strong? Is that? Do you think what they were getting at?
That could be someone who's upset about getting beaten over and over by Super Bowlers, maybe.
Yeah, or somebody able to do a queen charge on their base all the time. But I think healers are fine. I think there was a while back, a few years ago, that Supercell did nerf healers,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
much to the chagrin of many.
Was a decent idea, right? They just said that the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, whatever healer just
Mhm.
did reduced healing. You could still
Exactly.
carry that many. Just as they died, you would then gain their healing force.
Yeah.
But did you really need 6 healers? I'm not sure. I see some of these guys go in with 4, 3. Who was that guy? He went in with 1 healer on his queen charge. I think it was Bum. I think it was Bomb.
I usually
Probably.
do that because I'm not dropping cocoa loons, but I digress.
That's a pre-swag Fido. Oh boy.
Those are my cocoa healers.
Healers. Right.
Okay, next one.
I
Huge
think this is a
sieges.
Fado.
This is mine.
Okay,
So
you want to take this one, Fada?
yeah, happy to. The queued sieges. So say you kind of bring a rainbow army of sieges, like if you're doing legends and it's a queen charge, you've got like a queen charge cooked, and only until you see the base do okay, this is going to fail with a log launcher, this is going to fail with a blimp or whatever your failing choices. But if you've also got like the rainbow queued, it's currently it just takes the next one, right?
Yeah.
It's the first ready one. So you could end up when you're going into a second night, you have like the extra life on the heroes and all that. You can do 2 legends hits back to back, right?
Right.
So, but then if you look at your sieges, suddenly you've got like 2 flame flingers instead of like a flinger, a blimp, and a slammer. And it's like, oh shoot, now I'm screwed. So,
Right.
with donations, like if you have, say, I don't know, a bunch of super wall breakers cook for both armies and someone requests one. And so back at the end of your queue, you've got other super wall breakers. When you donate it, it takes it out of your queued troops, not your not the troops in your army.
Right.
So why can't sieges work like that when you use them? That's like one idea. The other one was, I'd love to, unless you want to talk about that, I'll go through the second one real quick. But if you have 1 minute to scout a builder base hit, for crying out loud, and you can change your army right there, why can't we do that for Legends, please?
I agree. That one I totally agree on.
I mean, yeah, it would change the dynamic a lot. Like you would have the top of Legends would become even more OP probably. So there's for someone like me who's not a pro and doesn't FC a lot, like I would appreciate a little extra time and a little help. But at the top of Legends, that would change the dynamic pretty hardcore.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see them giving us extra time to scout. Being able to adjust your army would be an amazing quality of life improvement for people in Legends.
I really like Fado's idea of the queued
Yeah.
up siege machine. I'm
Yeah.
not sure. I mean, Vodka Soda said this last week that being able to change your army would change Legends even more than, boy, a 30 extra second scout. Goodness.
Mhm.
I think Builder Base had a lot of good things to it that they just couldn't quite incorporate into the main village. It was just something they said, oh, what if we do this? And I think, I hope they can revamp it. I mean, it's just an extra part of the game to play. I'm going to talk about this a little later, just how busy Clash has become. But do we
Yeah.
really need Builder Base again? I'm not sure. Not
Yeah.
sure.
Don't jump ahead too far.
And that's what
Yes, right.
and that's what Clan Capital
Yes.
say. Oh, there's that Crusher.
Okay, so for Town Hall 15, this person said we need something that involves the main village. So that's kind of vague, but it just shows I think people are just give us something, please.
I've heard not a rumor or anything, the idea that maybe incorporating like a boss as part of the town hall, kind of like what some of the 10th anniversary stuff did. That could be really interesting.
You're talking as the Town Hall 15 defense.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
not only do you have like a Giga Inferno, you've also got some massive HP thing out there that you've got to kill.
Like the final boss type of thing. Which I like that idea a lot because, yeah, I mean, it would really impact people's ability to triple, which means for the average player, we're out of luck most of the time.
And do you see that boss coming out after the town hall goes down? Kind of, the opposite of the builders running away. They would emerge, or do you think it's there to fight while the building is up?
Oh God, if it's fighting while the building is up, that's
crazy, isn't
jump.
it?
That's
Yeah,
crazy. But if it's not, like you could rope a dope it, right? You kind of can do that. Like that one village in Clan Capital with all the super dragons, you can just rope a dope those. You don't even have to kill them all. You just kind of kill the building that houses them, and then you just work away from them, and then when they move away, you come back and work some more. I could see that with I mean, all within 3 minutes time on a single base.
That's true.
Oof.
Yeah. Yeah.
So scratch that. Let's just delete that whole section. We're not going to do bosses, and we don't even want that idea of reaching Supercell.
They hear everything. So, I think people are desperate for them to give us something. Usually, during the summer Clash anniversary, they give us something on the main village to play with until the next town hall drops. Whether it's a special troop or whatever. This year they didn't give us anything other than these special challenges, but
which
you know,
were
No.
fun.
they were awesome. Like
Yeah.
I loved going back to, especially like there were a couple that were like legit Clash Army challenges. Some of the
Yes.
there were a lot of meme challenges, but the ones that were like, oh man, this takes me back. This is great, and it just goes back to the please give us the ability to set like to create a friendly war that's like a Town Hall 11 type war or something
Mhm.
where you get pre sieges or and all that. So
Time travel war.
Mhm.
Yes, I love it.
Which would allow you to select, like, okay, I'm a Town Hall 14, so I've already gone through Town Hall 11. Let me select, I want to play Town Hall 11 this war.
hmm
Yeah, that would be awesome. And yeah, you know what? For those challenges, I really enjoyed the lower Town Hall level events more than, like you say, the meme kind of armies. As they got higher up, there was more of a meme army. But yeah, hitting like Town Hall 8 was a blast again.
Yes. And I just
So,
played through some of those, right? I have all those
yeah.
low-level accounts, so, it was great. I loved
Yeah,
it.
yeah. They hopefully will give us something along that lines one day, but I'm not going to hold my breath. All right, next topic, Builder Base. People want something for Builder Base. It's been ignored. What do you guys say?
We can keep ignoring it.
I know a few people that would love to keep ignoring it.
Yeah.
Mike.
For years, he still had the arrow flashing above the boat.
Pretty sure he still does.
He still does.
My OCD would never have allowed that.
No. And you know what? Builder Base is good for clan games. That's really
And the six builder.
and the
Six builder
six
is
builder
still.
and the
Yep.
gem mine. Yeah.
And never mind all the obstacles you get to clear, right? That's always a gem
Yeah.
increase. So
Yeah, it's always good to get some gems there. You know, they've gotten a few ideas for troops from over there, but
And defenses.
and defenses, yeah. This I think this must be the same person who put this, but
No,
they also
it's not.
want it's not sieges for Builder Base.
That was my joke one. So
Is that you?
so yeah, they were like,
Shame on you.
so when this question was posted, the ideas came hot and heavy at first, and so it's almost like a thread in Discord playing out all over again. But someone posted something for Builder Base. It's been ignored, and I had just posted about the queued sieges, so I was like, fine, sieges for Builder Base, and that's not serious at all. But I do note though that as you play Builder Base during clan games, like no one triples that. Like it's really rare to triple like high Builder Bases.
It is, yeah. It's the defenses are just way too strong over there, and the troops they just can't. And like the range of the defenses is way too OP. Like they need to, if they're going to revamp it, because Darian did say it's on their list of to-do things to revamp Builder Base.
Well,
then that's something that they need to adjust.
As someone in software development, like I can tell you, you can say that and not be lying, but also never get to it.
Exactly. I'm sure they have a really long to-do list.
And that one probably keeps getting deprioritized, and I don't blame them. It's there. It's what it is. Let's leave it.
Exactly.
There's no enthusiasm for it.
No, that's true. You're the only one demanding changes, Faden. So.
Right. Give me my sieges, and then I'll be happy.
When I got to go to Las Vegas, there was guys there that had built Builder Base armies. They were very good at it. So I can't think of the term, but they would have tournaments with those. It was hot. It was their original try for esports, right? It was kind of run what you brung. Here it is, go.
There was a clan in the CFF when Builder Base first came out. They were extremely excited about it. They basically ignored the main village, and they all focused on Builder Base. They were building bases and pushing, and they just loved it. And then it kind of lost its luster after a while, and because nothing new was ever coming for it, so they went back to the main village. So here is one that is near and dear to my heart, and I did not post this. Larger clan sizes or clan merges, where 2 to 3 clans, clan merges, 2 to 3 clans with a clan family chat in-game.
Yes, this is kind of something we've talked about several times. I think it would be a neat way to FC amongst your family of clans. It would keep
Mhm.
minis being able to be in a different clan, but still get troops from the main villages. So, like we've done already with Redthorn, we could do all Town Hall 14, but your mini wouldn't be left in the dark or out in the cold, so to speak.
And I think it would be a good way to keep clan families engaged, right? So like if you have, say, 2 or 3 clans in your, selected clan alliance or whatever they want to call it, clan family, and you're allowed to share chat. Say there's a group chat option, which they could easily do because they used to have global, right?
Right.
All the people in the family could be chatting in game and sort of staying connected that way instead of like having to go to an app like Discord to try and connect. And a lot of people don't like using Discord. They want to be in game doing FCs and doing their attacks and stuff.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I'm totally behind that idea. Another idea was the ability to FC your own bases.
I like it a lot for what we know, for how we live our lives in Clash, but that probably would, that could be abused
Mm-hmm.
in like CWL week. It could
Sure.
be, no differently than having a clanmate build a base. You'd have to have a cooldown, but I'm fine with a cooldown, of course.
Yeah, I think like you say, it's open to abuse, and Supercell worked really hard to eliminate that issue. So I can't see them giving us anything like that in the near future.
I mean, in a
So,
way, where Clash is now, we all have minis. Not everyone has a mini, so to speak, at the same town hall level as their main.
mhm.
But someone like Michigan, who's got 2 max 14s, or you, Peter,
Mhm.
um, you can kind of do it already.
Mhm.
You just have the bases on one account, and you hit from your other.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of people do that. So it's an interesting idea, but it's not probably something that's going to gain any traction there. Let's see, next one. Have an army quick train slot for war, like the FC army, where you can use any troop. So that would be like for war. Like
Have it work.
if we do a friendly war, I can select any super troop, any troop to use. But you can't do that in war, in a regular war. So I think that would be kind of a cool idea.
Yeah, just
Like,
for war, fine.
yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. That's a great idea. Like, especially if it's just for war hits. The problem is how they tie in whatever you do. We're back before Clan Wars. There was just your army, and you would train it, and you would use it and farm, and that was it.
Mhm.
Or push, whatever. Um, but that army is also the army you war with. So they would have to figure out, okay, if we do this for a friendly, then we kind of have to change the way this has been working for several years, and that would
Mhm.
be interesting for them. I love the idea, and I wish they would make it true, make it really happen, but they would have to kind of redo some stuff with regular wars to get that to work. And I don't know how. It's always been intertwined with your farm army, and so that's the tricky thing for them. But I absolutely love the idea, and I agree with it 100%.
Yeah, when you think about how the wars work, like a friendly war has its own set of requirements that you need to do. Like, setting your war base is different for a friendly war than it is for a regular war. And that's something that they don't seem to have been able to mesh, so that your regular war base is your war base, right? Whether it's in a friendly war or whatever. And so many people have got burned by that because they don't normally do friendly wars. So when they participate in an event and I think it even happened, and we touched on it a couple of episodes ago, when people were signed up for these world qualifiers,
Yeah.
there was quite a few people who were complaining because the war
The
started.
progress basis.
They thought it was the war base that they had for regular wars, but they didn't realize that they had to change it on the friendly war map with that orange arrow. And so, they were stuck with like a Town Hall 9 level base with max 14 defenses, but not all the defenses were placed and not all the buildings were placed. So it was basically a Town Hall 9. So, yeah.
Which was surprising to me. Either the organizers let them down or the people that are entering let themselves down. I can't really decide which. I mean,
Yeah. Probably a bit of both.
yeah, I mean, that you're trying to do this, friendly war. I mean, how could you have made it that far without having done a friendly war? Now, I know, Kat, you have to post that often when we do our family events, but, not everybody is war players, right? Some people are just farmers, and that's
Yep.
what it is.
Yeah, they're pushing or they're farmers and they don't normally participate in something like that. And so it's a bit of a shock to their system when they realize that their base isn't what they thought it was.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Reduced cook times for dark troops.
I've thought a little bit about this one. We've already not having to pay for dark troops. I can see Supercell moving to this eventually where there's just no cook time. I mean, that's a big hardship for us that we used to train dragons, right, at Town Hall 7, and they were, I think, 60 minutes each. Remember those days? It was like a 2-day process to make war attacks.
You could train your army and drive to Winnipeg and hit and have it be ready when you get there.
When you get there.
Oh,
So, I can see this coming, where there's even further reduced cook times.
Yeah,
it's okay
that would
by
be
me.
a quality of life, and they're all about that. So
Yeah, I mean, what I would like them to do is maybe, take the 25 gems it costs for a 1-hour training boost, make it like a 4-hour boost or something, and make it, because you run out of training potions real quick. You can only store 5.
Right.
And there's only so many available in the shop, and the shop only refreshes once a week now. So
yeah, you can buy them with gems.
Don't call it gems. Call it green elixir. That'll be less painful to hear.
That's traumatic. Okay, remove the super troop boost lock. Just have them be trainable.
Yes, please.
It dovetails with what we were kind of talking about a moment ago.
Yeah, I totally support that. It's I think you won't find anybody who's like, oh no, I like having only 3 available to me.
And you both agree that just using 2 per army, that would be fine, right? They could hold that restriction, but just let us train them. Just let us train them.
Yeah, this attack, I want to use super dragons. I'm bored. Oh, now I'm bored with them. I want to switch over to super bowlers.
I think more of guys like Carl who, they just build a custom army for every attack. Or, so this time they need sneaky goblins, and next time they need super wall breakers. There's those couple of 2 or 3 troops that kind of are not interchangeable, but
or just
that roll between.
Yeah, just even if you're farming, you're using certain super troop. But in war, you might need, like you say, the sneaky gobs to
the rocket loons.
And rocket loons. Yes.
Yeah.
I think a rocket loons for funneling, the sneaky gobs for funneling, the super wall breaker for everything.
Just make the super wall breaker a regular wall breaker and get rid of the other ones already.
I think that's still a good idea.
Yeah. Don't do anything with clan capital until we have something good on the main village.
That's interesting because I almost feel like clan capital, it's a good idea. I think the execution's a little off so far. But it also was a way of keeping people busy while they're doing Town Hall 15. That's my guess.
It's a delay tactic.
Yeah, and I'm not saying Clan Capital was done just to delay. Obviously, it took a lot of work to do, but by necessity, the way they do esports now, you can't release a new Town Hall in the middle of the year. You just can't.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead, Peter.
I was just going to say, that would be totally unfair to all those 60-hour weeks and things for base builders. Just suddenly have to deal with a new meta, and boy, that'd be crazy.
Exactly.
And Clan Capital's wildly unbalanced. There's only like 1 or 2 defenses that don't fire at air troops. So it's like, why would you use air? So
sneaky archers.
And we're getting really close to maxing that, aren't we, in RT? I mean, I think we're at Capital Peak 9, and then several of the early Town Halls were already at the max, the whatever it is, Town Hall 5. Not Town Hall, sorry. Capital Peak Hall 5
Mhm.
for the different levels. So we're really getting close now. And what do we got? 3 months till December update?
No,
Kind of,
don't.
yeah, I know. Again, we're going to be waiting for Town Hall 15. And I guess that's, just we've accumulated max players. Just seems to have happened.
Mhm.
And that's why I'm pushing my quote unquote mini like as hard as I can through 14 now.
Yeah.
You're
Um,
going to be
Yeah.
the only Town Hall 14 left in Clash of Clans when Town Hall 15 drops, aren't you?
just my luck.
Yeah.
Okay, next point. For Town Hall 15, would love to see something unique and not more grinding to the next level. Maybe think about an end game setup where people will stay interested even at max 15 and won't be bored hoping for the next Town Hall.
This is an interesting one. I think we've talked a bit about. I can't remember if it was Vodka Soda who brought it up, but remove the restriction on friendly wars when you're in a regular war. If that
Mhm.
was part of this update, I think it alleviates some of it. It's definitely not an end game, but it would help keep people's interest. Um, but we for several years though we've been building up these accounts, and the build times on defenses and stuff. It does take a long time to get there, and once you get there, you've been chasing this for so long, and then you're like, oh,
Now what
maybe
do I do?
the journey was the friends we made along the way.
Yeah. Yeah, like everything is such a grind and it seems like it's taking forever to do everything, right? And before you know it, you're just like, oh, I just have a few walls left to do. And then what am I going to do with all my loot? Other than, well, I guess at this point, thank you, Supercell. You've given us the Forge, so Max 14s have somewhere to spend all their loot. But
With an end game, that kind of to me sounds and feels like single player.
mhm.
Which they did release some new challenges, but let's be honest, you can blast through those pretty quickly. What would an end game be? That's a really interesting topic, and I'd love to hear, what some stoners would think. They're the ones with all the creativity, the ones who are on loads of drugs. So let them figure it out.
Well, to me, like if someone says an end game, that means that, okay, well, Town Hall 15 will be the last town hall that we put out. And, you know, we're not going to push out new town halls. Like we might give you some new content here and there, but would that be enough to hold people's interest in playing the game anymore? I don't know.
They'd have to add some things into the game, right? Some kind of personal achievements. We have that player level, right? 200 something. That it seems to be meaningless. You can sort the clan by those, but doesn't seem to
Yeah.
have any rhyme or reason. And the clan levels, right? That's something we could work together to build up. We just need a reason to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
and clan level 15, maybe you unlock like one super troop spot for
yeah.
yourself. Like you only have to buy one, and you can just pick whatever. I don't know. There's got to be ways to like take a look at the things that were important several years ago and make them valuable again. Because you're
Yes.
right. Like I'm a level 235, and someone else might be a level 260, and really the difference is, they've donated more.
Yeah.
Um,
But definitely clan perks should be something that they work on. If you're a level 30 clan, it should mean something.
And I was thinking it almost needed to be a loyalty thing, right? At the beginning of the
Mm-hmm.
season, you're in a level 30 clan, everybody gets 30 gems. And that's just the number I'm throwing out there. It could be
Yeah.
more, it could be, but that would be
3,000. Yeah.
3,000, yes. Now, as a max player, do you really need those? So now it becomes, oh, I want my mini in there at the start of the thing. So, I see that there's issues, but there
Yeah.
need to be something that keeps us pushing something ahead. Like keep
Yeah.
playing it.
I do like that idea that you said, Fado, that, at X clan level, it unlocks a certain extra troop bought for you or something. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like you're allowed to unlock 3 super troops or whatever, I really like that idea. Next idea. delete the builder base.
No, I need my sieges first.
Yeah, that would be too much for them to transfer the important stuff over to the main village. And then how would people get their 6 builder? You know, it would
Maybe when you hit level 200.
yeah, maybe. So, I mean, it's probably something they could do, but I don't foresee them doing it anytime soon unless they need the base on their servers. But I think there are a certain amount of people that would cry about it because if you're a max builder base like me, you put a certain amount of effort into it over the years. It kind of just happened
It did just kind of happen, didn't it?
with clan games. So, more niche troops, for example, headhunters that have a specific purpose. I like that idea.
I do, but you got to think about what are the niches left. Like you've got goblins that target resources. You've got hogs and balloons, etc., that target defenses. Headhunters target heroes. I think one niche could be something that targets a town hall, or something that only targets air defense or ground defense. I'm trying to spitball. So what would those troops look like? Those are the kind of things they could do. Because some of the meme troops they've put out actually turned out to be like really OP, like the Royal Ghost.
Please bring that back. I love that. I think with a little bit of adjustment, they could probably integrate some of those special troops. I love that giant skeleton. That was a great group. They'd probably have to nerf it a little bit, but
no nerfs. We need help.
No nerfs. We need all the help we can get. So yeah, I think even with the Super Valk, they could adjust her intelligence level somewhat so that maybe she targets defenses or something. You know, that might make her more useful. But yeah, like you say, there's not a lot more that they could do as far as like what's left to target. I mean, the Queen already targets walls, so. Better communication tools in game, such as a clan mail rework. Yes, please. Need to be able to edit when you're writing a clan mail.
Oh yes, I see what you mean. Yes, that would be very valuable.
And descriptions.
and clan descriptions, please. Like instead of having to retype the entire thing because you need to change something that's at the very beginning. Yeah.
Don't let me write your clan mail. Right? Like it's 100% typo gibberish.
I spelled the wrong. Oh no. It's staying that way.
It's te.
Yeah, so that would be a really, and it's probably, I don't know, I'm not a programmer, so I don't know the coding involved, but it seems to me that would be something that would be relatively simple to do and would be a huge quality of life improvement. Be able to edit FC Army while looking at a base.
Yeah.
I think that's Peter's.
Yeah, this is a straightforward win for me.
Yeah. Peter?
Yeah, again, it's just, you have to back out, change the troop, go back in, look again. I'm thinking about Carl and his approach to attacking bases. He's building the army, he's looking at the base, he's building the army, he's looking at the base. It would be something, I'm not sure what the word is.
We're spending a lot of time pandering to Carl on this podcast today. I'm a little concerned. What's he got on us?
I think he PayPal'd Peter some money.
That must have been it. He's the only guy I know that really is into, I'm going to talk about this a little bit later, but I still just kind of have an army and use it. And he's kind of opened my eyes to, he builds it fresh every time for every war. It's just interesting to me, a different way of thinking about it.
And that's the way I played, a long time ago. A lot more like that, like especially at Town Hall 9.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, do I bring, 3 golems or do I bring 2 golems and 2 witches? Things like that. I'll admit to being a little less careful these days. But the results show it.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I think the people who take the time to, I'm going to need to put like Carl, I need to put a sneaky goblin over here to help funnel and make my queen go this way. I mean, that kind of thought, it's important, and that's probably what most of us should be doing. But I'm as guilty as the next person. It's like, okay, yeah, I have Super Bowlers cooked, and
Hmm.
I'm going to hit this base, and
Well,
it's the same army every time.
it's natural, you know why? Because we all do it for Legends, right? I don't
Yeah.
know anyone
Exactly.
who's changing their army every single Legends hit,
Yeah.
because you don't know what you're getting, and then you get into that thought pattern of I'm shoehorning this into that, and because I've been playing Legends that way forever.
Yeah.
And sure, you will tailor it. Like I don't need I don't need a hound to get this blimp where I want it to go, so I'll have extra this, that, and the other. But that's minor compared to starting from the ground up.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, for those who played League in the past, that's what you would do. You would sit, whether on voice or in game, and you'd talk about, how am I going to hit this base, and what do I need to do to my army? So you'd spend some time planning, right?
Right.
And adjusting your army accordingly, and yeah, it usually made a difference in the result. So being able to edit an army while looking at a base would be quite useful, whether it's FC or even just like while you're planning your war attack. Supercell highlight non-competitive events in an in-game tab.
I have no objection to this. I just what is a non-competitive event, right? If
Would it be like, say for example, the CFF is running our tournament, for example, the Royal Rumble.
Or are these more for like the old school CWLs, or the MLCWs, the things that aren't
That's
um,
probably,
yeah,
yeah,
where there's not money on the line necessarily.
that's probably what this person meant is like, yeah, the old school leagues. It would be nice to see those supported.
They gave birth to esports for Clash of Clans. They
Yes.
really ought to, give them some love. If
yes,
that's the meaning of this one, I simply couldn't agree more.
I think so, because the people who are playing in the esports, they came up through those leagues.
Absolutely.
It's
absolutely.
those
And
leagues build the skills that people need to get to the next level, to the esport level. So
those leagues got us Friendly Wars too.
yeah, exactly. So to show them some love, you're grooming your next levels of players, your next generations of players who are going to keep the game going if you want to keep doing esports, because a number of people who currently do esports, I mean, they're going to move on eventually to other stuff as they burn out or they need a break or whatever. So where's your next crop of esports players coming from? They're coming from these, semi-pro leagues. Oh yeah, definitely show them some love. Like to see that. Let's see, Super Troop rental rework, i.e. unlock number of spaces versus a specific troop. I think we kind of already discussed that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Be able to spin random 5v5 similar to the in-game bracket. I think we've run into that issue before where, we're doing a 5v5 event with C2J and
Got a war
some of
timer.
us have war timers or accidentally spun ourselves into wars.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be nice, like just like when you're in SCCWL, to be able to just hop out and do a fun 5v5 event
Yes.
without having a lock on your timer on your account. So definitely support that. A fifth hero pet, but not a fifth hero.
I like that idea a lot. Figure out what specialty you could add to a hero, and you get to choose. So one of your pets gets to sit out. That's fine. There's therapy for them. But if it goes back to what we were talking about with Carl, who I do love, and Carl's wonderful. He didn't pay me to say that in the interim, but look, this base is to me, this base requires this approach, and to make this hero more effective in this base, I would change my pets around to do that. Because by now, like we all have our stock. Okay, unicorns on the queen, and lassies with lassies with the royal champion, etc.
Yeah, there wasn't
Yeah.
the variety I kind of expected. It's all everybody's fallen to the default.
Yeah. I think you're right, Vito. I think having that fifth pet would definitely make people think, well, do I need the yak on this attack, or do I need, I don't know, there's a snake or whatever that can slither over walls or something. I don't know. Like, it could impact how your attack goes, right?
Yep. I hope
that would be a
Supercell
fun
can work
idea.
on something. Yeah, like
Yeah,
that. That'd
yeah.
be good.
Okay. These next couple we've already gone over. Make personal account levels be worth anything in game.
Yeah.
And make clan levels after 10 be worth something.
Yeah.
And any kind of new pet or troop. Maybe a Super Yeti. What do you guys think? Do we need a Super Yeti?
Any new content would be welcome, right? We just want some new stuff to play with.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be really super viable.
We're spoiled children. We need a new toy.
So Super Yeti, would that spawn real Yetis that would spawn Yeti mites? I like this cascading thing.
And then Super Yeti mites, and then Yeti mites.
Ah, very good. Only 150 troops base each.
Oh my god.
So we bring a boss to the battle.
It would be like that super mountain golem in Clan Capital.
That's right. You plop them
Just
down
keeps
and
going.
hope for the best.
Why doesn't that guy spawn mini mountain golems, by the way? Come on now.
I think he could throw a mountain or a golem by like as a bowler does, right? He could just bounce it down there and then it would keep attacking once it lands.
Oh yeah, just throw golems around. That'd be friggin' great. Yeah.
Oh gosh,
The golem, the bolem, right?
The bolem. I like it.
On that note, we're going to jump into story time from Peter.
Oh, right. Okay, so one morning I was in clan. I had war attacks to make. I had to get them in early. And we've talked a little bit about this, right? We're Legends players. We have a Legends army that we're had many practice tries with, right? Maybe not super proficient, whatever. But it's one we're comfortable with. We can attack. We know how to attack a variety of bases. But I had a war attack to do. And of course, Red Thorn Wars start in the middle of the night, or later at night, so I'm attacking in the morning. And of course, Xeno's old man like me, and we're up early, so I think he watched me as like a friendly, you know how you can watch your friends' attacks. What did I do? It was a corner town hall. No one had hit it in Red Thorn, so I was happy to kind of try to get the 2-star. And I made the attack. It wasn't super good. I might have even 1-starred. I don't really remember now. But Xeno says, and I get a DM from him through Discord, and he says, "Oh, why didn't you blizzard into that corner town hall? You could have got the CC, the town hall, and both scatter shots are there. You may have got one or both of those. That would have been really super." And I'm like, well, because I didn't think of it. And I said it kind of off the cuff because, well, I wasn't fully caffeinated at the time. But it got me thinking throughout the whole day that I'm not fully taking advantage of what the game has to offer at the moment. And I don't know why, other than I feel like my time is limited. But it got me to thinking about Carl. Again, I'm going to bring up that K name that isn't Cat. And he kind of, I don't think he plays Legends normally. He is right now because of the Legends push with Green Arrow, but I think he doesn't normally. So therefore, he's not. The war attack is his thing, and so I've been rethinking: do I even need to be in Legends? Which brought me back to: if I'm not in Legends, what am I going to do when it's not a war day? Which the whole thing is. I think Supercell needs a revamp of everything. We're busy with so many things, like 8 Legends hits, and I'm doing 16 because of Search also. War hits every other day. I don't know. We need something that engages players that isn't necessarily Legends, I think. I think Legends is making me a worse player, in fact.
I agree. I actually agree with you. I get so frustrated with it. I'm like, I watch YouTube and everyone's smashing everything, and of course they're not. Not every time they stub their toes are they going to post, but I would agree with that. And what would be really cool is it's clear they engaged with certain players to build some of those challenges for the 10th anniversary. Why don't they engage with some pros and say, throw out a couple bases and make this like a tutorial? They've got tutorials in there that are okay, yeah, technically we are doing a Lalo hit with this, but you know, have the tutorial be like, well, this is what a pro sees. Um, make it really valuable. Like, this is the stuff you see on YouTube. Here's what they thought going into it. Um, and, you know, take us through it. And whether, pick a pro. Is it a Lalo guy? Is it you know, watch an agent do queen charge hogs. I'm like, oh God, this is fantastic.
Mhm.
What did he see? What enabled him to take this train of thought? And I know you're like, well, you're kind of giving away the recipe, right? Well,
Well,
are you really? Because even with something like burnt base, you can find a really hard base in a war, and someone could go to burnt base, which I don't. Um, and you find out, oh, here's how. Oh, look, this tripled with Lalo, and then you see who did it, and you're like, well, of course it did. It was a pro that did it. um, and it's like you can give them the exact plan, and still, regular players' execution is nowhere near as clean as a pro. So I
Yeah,
mean that's my spiel.
that's a good point.
so I don't know what Supercell can do for us, but I'm thinking I need to pull out of Legends after this month and just see if I can become more engaged for War, or if I'll just drift away. It's hard to
Well,
know what the level is.
if you think back, like when we weren't in Legends, like War, like you said, Peter, War was our focus, right? And
Mhm.
and on the one hand, as a 14, yeah, I'm hitting tougher bases in Legends, but I get 8 hits, and I'm just focused on got to stay in Legends, get my attacks in. Whereas maybe if I wasn't in Legends, there wouldn't be that stress, that pressure to stay in Legends, and I could maybe spend more time just doing some FCs and trying new things lower down, or even just trying different types of attacks on lower bases. Like maybe I want to get my technique, as far as like Blizzard, look at a base, get my timing down to drop that Blizzard, and then go back and try it in FCs. I think there's a lot to be said that I remember back as a 9, for example, spending hours and hours FCing,
A certain style of
stoned,
base, right?
stoned hogs,
Yeah.
to learn how to get my timing down for spells for hogs. And I just don't spend that amount of time doing FCs these days. Life gets busy and it seems everybody's busier these days.
I do feel that all those reps, though, at Town Hall 9 they obviously those things translate forward in the game, or we wouldn't be able to play Town Hall 14. So
Right.
I think everyone has a base of what works for them, right?
Yeah.
If you were a bad attacker, you understand the timing of a free spell, right? It just translates forward. You know in your head, 5 seconds is coming. My queen is
Yeah.
under attack again. Invis is new, right? It's a little less time. If you played one, then maybe your training counteracts the invis timing. But so yeah. Why did we all move into Legends? I mean, originally it was to save loot, right? When we were grinding up. I don't know why I've stayed.
I blame Tarlis, but no, it's true. Like, I moved up to Legends, like you said, because you don't lose your loot when you get attacked. The loot bonuses are amazing up there. So finishing your walls and progressing your base when you're up there is awesome. But yeah, there's really no reward for staying up there. So I think it's just a habit to be up there. Just say,
Right.
yeah, I'm up in Legends. So
Which brings me to my next thing. Clash of Clans, it feels to me very busy right now. Between clan games, and this was a big clan games, right? 5,000 points was the max.
Yeah.
But the reward was at 4,000, I think. What else? We have Clan Capital. I know it's only once a weekend, but you donate your capital gold as you get it, so you're in and out kind of constantly. We're upgrading things. I'm doing, like I said, Legends. We have Wars because we love Wars.
And CWL.
And CWL is coming up again. That's right. And not to mention all the other friendly things, right? We're doing Friday night fights with the C2J guys many, many, many weeks. So it's
and then
busy.
there's all the CFF events that,
Yeah,
are
yeah.
ramping up again.
And as organizers, of course, that makes us a little busier than actually just the day of the event. But even just the day of the event, right? You have to coordinate yourself to be there.
Mhm.
So I got to thinking, well, there has to be other games that are, having similar issues. So I thought this is going to be interesting. I'm going to look and see what other mobile games have had 10-year anniversaries. Surprisingly, a big number of them. One I
Oh, well.
already played was Hill Climb. Now, I haven't looked at it in a long time, so I didn't bother downloading that one. But I found one called Township. It's kind of like a heyday similar thing where you build a little town and you farm vegetables. Now, that is a busy game. You grow crops to feed your cows, to get milk, to make yogurt, to make frozen yogurt. It's a coordination thing, but it's busy. So I thought Clash of Clans was busy, but I think they've done very well keeping it. What is the word I'm looking for? It was engaging for a long time because we were growing bases. It is now we're not growing bases, so they've had to broaden the game.
Yeah. True enough.
Yeah, and Clan Capital is almost like another mini game within the game, right? You don't need to be a Town Hall 14 to play that at the same level. So it's
Yeah. And I mean, that's kind of nice because whether you're a Town Hall 8 or you're a Town Hall 14, you go into Clan Capital and everybody's on the same level playing field as far as these are the troops available to the clan as a whole. So that's kind of nice.
So those are my two interesting things for this week. Oh,
Awesome.
don't download Township.
Do not.
It's engaging. So yeah, to suck you
No.
right in.
Delete.
Delete.
Okay, so I'm going to just give a little brief update. We talked last episode about how Redthorn was so full that we've had to open up the Raided, an old OG clan, and that's going really well. Got quite a few people who had laid the game down and have come back, so we're super happy to see them playing a game. And just the clan is full. What can I say?
Which is crazy, isn't it?
So we've got two
Yeah, when
clans of pretty much full.
when Cat plants a flag somewhere, like everyone just comes out of the woodwork and fills it up.
But it's just, super chill. Town Hall 7 up, Hero down. It's kind of fun. I'm having fun smashing bases with my Town Hall 9. So
Oh, you're the one smashing them all. I log in 5 minutes after the war starts, and every Town Hall 9's cleared.
well, it's kind of sparked me a little bit, just like,
Okay.
I get to use my Town Hall 9 and I can triple. Yay.
Yay!
So it's a lot of fun. So I think people are enjoying it. So the next thing I wanted to do is just a little fun discussion on, do you have a favorite TV series or show on TV right now? And what is it?
So is this like on television right now, or is it, something from the binge universe, something that's played out in the past?
Anything you like.
Oh, okay. So things that are probably somewhat current, and you guys will like this. Even as an American, I love Letterkenny and Shoresy. Oh my God. That is some of the best stuff, funniest stuff I have seen ever. But I'm currently I started Brooklyn Nine-Nine because I never really watched it when it was on, and I do appreciate its humor, but it hasn't really taken hold just yet. I'm very early in it, and I just finished binging The Shield a short time ago. So it is kind of hard to go to like a really lighthearted comedy series after something that's so incredibly dark like The Shield. So that's kind of what I'm up to. And I only really ever watch it like when I'm basically falling asleep at night. So, you know, I am a person who can just put the tablet like next to my bed, prop it up, and watch a half-hour show, and I'll just fall asleep with it on. Like I know the doctors and everyone's like, "Oh, you shouldn't sleep with it close to your bed." Well, maybe that's where the mania comes from, right? All the all the devices next to me, but yeah.
But you can buy these things that clip onto your headboard, and you put your tablet on it, so it's like
Above your face?
Yeah, it's like one of these arm things.
That
Just
sounds like a
putting that
cat
out there,
perch
Fredo.
waiting to be broken. Can you describe The Shield a little? I haven't heard of that one.
So Shield ran, I want to say it started its run about 20 years ago, actually. And it's about some dirty LA cops, and some of the personal
Okay.
things they go through and how that impacts them becoming even dirtier. And it is really well done. It was, I think one of the creators or executive producers was the same guy behind Sons of Anarchy.
Oh,
If you ever
okay.
heard of
Yeah.
that or
Okay.
seen that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kurt
It's
Sutter.
supposed to be great, really good. Yeah.
Yeah, Sons of Anarchy is really good too. Shout out to Stormy. I think they based it on his life. But yeah, the Shield was really good. It's 7 seasons. The episodes were an hour long, so cut down on streaming with about 40 something minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, I would recommend it. But it is dark. It'll take you a while to stream it. And there's not much humor in it. It's just it's dark, but good.
Peter, how about you?
So, I don't really watch a ton. I watch what my wife wants to watch, and so she says, "Are you worrying tonight?" And I say no, and she says, "Okay, come watch a show with me." So we are watching Departed right now. The lady has solved the airplane crash, and now she's working on a train crash. So that's season 2. I did get to watch She-Hulk after you and I talked about it, I think on Thursday or Friday night.
Mhm.
Watch those 2 episodes with my boy. So those are fun. It's interesting.
Yeah. Lighthearted.
Yeah, lighthearted. I think I'm very much looking forward to the next season of Yellowstone. Like those
Yes.
characters and
Hmm.
yeah.
That's a great show.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of my all-time faves.
And I don't even know what it is. I mean, it's Sons of Anarchy on horses, but it's also, it's a little
It's
Wild West. It's a little yeah,
really well
just
acted, I think. The writing is solid, the acting is amazing.
yeah. Yeah. And the character development has now happened, right? We're in season
Yeah.
4
I
coming?
think 5
Uh,
coming. I think.
season 5 coming. You're
5,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Beth and Rip, what can I say?
Yeah.
Right now, I am watching The Sandman
Oh, yes.
on Netflix. It's amazing. And I've heard that they're working on season 2, so that makes me happy. So I think it's quirky and dark and fun. It's just another little gem. And if anybody ever gets a chance to watch Good Omens, it was on Amazon Prime with David Tennant was in it. Amazing series. I think it's also a Neil Gaiman written book.
Interesting.
So, yeah. So that's what we're looking at. Okay, let's jump out to shout outs. Beto, do you have any shout outs tonight?
Yeah. Shout out to Vodka Soda for being a guest last time. It was a great episode. And a shout out to someone who probably doesn't listen, but to Susie for doing just a fantastic job on the big stage. She has been a streamer forever, and she runs a great stream. It's really lighthearted. She doesn't take herself too seriously, and she ended up where she ended up with the big dogs. She's there with Carbon, she's there with Eric, she's there with Itsu, and that's I couldn't be happier for her. She's put in the work and she's paying the dividends, getting the dividends.
Awesome.
And, she really has impressed me. She can do a play-by-play like nobody else, right? She just that, and she knows what's coming. She is on point. Really,
She
really
knows
good.
her stuff for sure.
And I think we got introduced to Susie because she also she was streaming Trilla Tatavan back when they were kind of climbing the ranks, right? So yeah, I've known Susie for a couple of years now. So yeah, I agree. Very, very well deserved.
Peter, how about you?
My shoutouts are to that K guy that isn't Cat. Keep doing what you're doing. You're an inspiration. I'm going to try and be better. And to C Note for, just opening my eyes to say, hey, there's only, you can only smash it the same way so many times before you need to think it through.
Awesome. My shout out is to Rusty for all the years of his leadership at Kent Greenhouse. And also shout out to Tor, OU, and Shark for picking up the reins of leadership over there. Good luck to them. And I think it's got good people running it. So good things in store for them over there.
And another 600 wins.
And another 600 wins to come. Let's do shade outs. Beto, do you have any shade outs?
Not real good at this one. Just any of my troops that I will deploy today, screw you in advance. Just screw you.
Oh
Peter?
boy, mine is to because I don't think she's listening to the podcast right now. To Lolly, who was surprised to hear that we were all jumping out to an event clan for Legends and didn't quite know. So a lighthearted shade out to Lolly.
My shade out is to Butters, also from Kent Greenhouse, for not responding in Discord and missing the 600 spin. So,
Boo.
shade out to him. The former co-leader and leader over there. So, Butters, where are you?
Butters, where are you? I think he's not listening to the podcast either.
Shame on him. So, a double shade out for him, not a shout out. Thank you, everybody, for listening. The CFF is a family of clans in games such as Clash of Clans, Clash Royale, and many of the other Supercell games. We love to provide content via podcasts and other media. You can visit the Clash Files Discord to apply to any of our clans or to support our pods and events. As always, please send us your comments, ideas, and questions on Twitter at RedthornCOC or join the Clash Files Discord at discord.gg/ClashFiles.